Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual college exploration for all West Virginia students, sponsored by the West Virginia Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of the many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at WVACRAO.org. This presentation is being recorded and what will be available within about a week at the same website, WVACRAO.org. I'd now like to turn it over to our presenters.
So I just want to take some time and just welcome everybody. My name is Will Bell and I am the Assistant Director of Admissions at Shepherd University. I just want to give you a quick intro about what you're going to see tonight. We'll do a brief admissions presentation and then we will do a question and answer session. So at the bottom of the screen, you see a Q&A box or Q&A button. Feel free to type in any question at any point in time, and we will have some time at the end. We will have a couple of students here with us tonight. So if you want to ask questions, definitely feel free to ask them, and they will answer them here in a few minutes. Also, just want to give you an idea of who else from our staff is here tonight. We have Lacey Emery, who's an admissions counselor, and Kaylin Browning as well. Is one of our admissions counselors. They're both alums of Shepherd. Lacey was a transfer student. She transferred in from Lord Fairfax Community College, and Kaylin Browning is from the Raleigh County area in West Virginia. So first, I want to talk about our location. So Shepherd is in Shepherdstown, West Virginia, which is in the Eastern Panhandle, about an hour and a half away from Baltimore and the Washington, D.C. area. We're about 2.5 hours away from Philadelphia and about 4 hours from New York City. So this presents a lot of really cool opportunities for our students. So if you want to do internships or trips into DC and Baltimore, Philadelphia, we know that a lot of West Virginia residents, especially students, may have never been to DC before. So if you're in a major like political science, we have some opportunities there for internships because we're so close to DC. So let's talk a little bit about the students here at Shepherd. So we have just under 4,000 undergraduate students on campus. 60% of our student body is from West Virginia. The other 40% are from out of state. Most of our out of state students are from Maryland and Virginia. We have students from all over the country and all over the world. We have a pretty decent international population. So we're small enough to where all of the professors will know who you are, but still big enough to where you can still meet a lot of new people from all over. So we're going to talk about some academics. So we are a liberal arts college, which means you're going to get a well-rounded education. So the goal of a liberal arts education is that you can problem solve and think critically and have an opportunity to solve problems when you get into the workplace. So you're going to take all different types of courses. You have to take courses like public speaking, history courses. You have to take 2 lab sciences, a wellness course, English 101 and 102. All of those are part of the liberal arts program. So these are going to teach you, as I said, critical thinking and analytical skills so that you'll be able to solve problems once you leave Shepherd. We have over 80 different majors on campus. Those range from criminal justice to sports management, sports communication, biology, chemistry, English, political science, global studies, all different types of majors. Our most popular majors tend to be business, nursing, education, and our recreation and sports studies program. Our average class size is right around 20. You'll have classes that may have 20 to 25 people in them, or as you get into your upper level major courses, you may only have classes with 8 or 12 students in them. I worked with a psychology student who was one of our admissions counselors when I started here, and she was in a research class, and she said she had 8 other students in the class with her, so she was working on this big research project, and her professor was there to help her every step of the way because the class was so small. And our student to faculty ratio is right around 15 to 1. So while your average class size may be slightly larger, we have enough faculty and advisors on campus so that they will all know who you are and all be able to help you. So as I said, you get a lot of personal attention. So you're recognized by by your face and by your name, even if you're in a general education course, it's still going to be small. Most of our classes, especially at the general education level, are only 20 to 25 students or so. Our largest lecture hall on campus only seats about 60 to 75 students, but every time that I've ever walked by that classroom, I hardly ever see it as full. You're going to have an opportunity to do research. This isn't just in a biology or chemistry program. This is also, if you're in a psychology program, if history, anything like that, you'll be able to do research. And we've had students that have presented their research at various conferences. And you're going to have an opportunity for hands-on learning. So again, general education science course, you're still going to be able to do all the experiments, work with all the equipment because the classes are so small. So you'll have a lab with about 15 students in it, and you'll be able to work hands-on with equipment that costs thousands of dollars, so that if you maybe went to a larger school, you'd be sitting in a lecture hall watching a teacher's assistant or a graduate student do that. We have no graduate students that teach at Shepherd. We have no teacher's assistants that teach. Most of our faculty have the highest degree in their field. So let's talk a little bit about beyond the classroom. So because we're a small school, we're going to have some special topics courses. We do special topics. We've had different research courses because our president is a cancer researcher. So she's brought in some friends of hers that have taught different courses in biology. This is going to allow students that are interested in the medical field to maybe get a hands-on class that under other circumstances they wouldn't have. We have academic partnerships with national parks, the National Conservation Training Center, the NCTC, medical centers, wildlife fisheries. This allows us to take trips. I think environmental studies, especially with this picture, they do trips. They've done trips to Yellowstone and the Grand Tetons about every other year during the summer. So this is a summer course that you can take. You can go backpacking through Yellowstone and the Tetons. We also do trips abroad. So they do trips to Cuba. There's a Europe trip as well, where you see 4 or 5 different countries. You can do study abroad for a week or a couple of weeks, maybe a month, or you can do a semester or over the course of the entire academic year. Again, this is all under normal circumstances, COVID-19 aside. So if you want to study abroad, usually what students will do is they will talk with our director of study abroad, and he will make sure that you're taking courses that not only will count for credit, but will actually apply to the degree program. And we have students that have gone all over the place. As I said, they do a trip to a study abroad trip to Cuba. We've had students go to Asia and Europe, South America, pretty much wherever you want to go as a student, you can do that. And we have an honors program and a scholars program for transfer students. So if you're a first-time freshman, those are the requirements for the honors program. They can be a little bit flexible with the GPA and the test score. So if you have a higher GPA, they will take a lower test score. Honors program students can live in Martin Hall as freshmen, which is one of our suite style residence halls. They get some scholarship opportunities, small classes. So they will do usually a lit course and a history course that coincide with each other. So they'll do a US history and a US lit course, a European history, a European lit course, and then they usually do one that's kind of a special topic for that particular semester. And they'll do some field trips and outings, and there's an honors fraternity as well. So let's talk a little bit about career preparation. So every student, regardless of their major, will have to do some type of career preparation. So if you're a nursing or social work student, you'll do clinical or field experience, internships, and student teaching. If you are an education major, every student has to do at least some type of career preparation project or program. And usually it happens in their junior or senior year, get class credit and certification hours for those. Also, we have a career services department, so they hold workshops and they hold an annual career fair. So you have an opportunity to meet with local businesses and get your resume out there for internships. Career services will work with you on your resume and cover letters and mock interviews. And this is really important because when you're applying for a job, this is your first opportunity to make a first impression. They'll also help you with graduate school applications if you're looking to go to grad school, if you maybe want to do like a med school or go into a law program after you graduate. Speaking of those, so we do have a few pre-professional tracks, pre-med, pre-dental, pre-pharmacy, and pre-vet. I'll talk a little bit about those real quick. So you'll have a dedicated advisor for each of those programs. We have agreements with WVU Marshall and Shenandoah for their various programs. So if you want to do pre-med or pre-dental at WVU, we have what's called the MedStep program. This is going to guarantee you an interview at WVU or at Marshall for their School of Medicine as well. So guarantees you an interview. You have an advisor from WVU and Marshall who's going to work with you, make sure you're doing everything you need to do, and you take a special class if you go to the WVU MedStep program, and they select about 5 or 6 students every year. And then you have to maintain a specific GPA, and you have to get an MCAT test score that meets their requirements. And WVU does, and Marshall both, they hold preferential treatment for West Virginia residents. So if you are a West Virginia resident and you apply to their WVU School of Medicine, you have a higher chance of getting in than maybe a non-resident of West Virginia. Pre-pharmacy is usually and for pre-med, pre-dental, pre-pharmacy, and pre-vet, it's usually a biology or a chemistry major. It doesn't have to be, but that's usually how it works out for those programs, because most of the prerequisites for medical school are biology or chemistry courses. But pre-pharm is usually a chemistry major with a biopharmaceutical science concentration. You spend 3 years at Shepherd, then you go into your pharmacy school, and then actually you'll get an undergraduate degree from us as well. So you get a PharmD and you get an undergraduate degree at Shepherd. We have agreements with WVU, Marshall, and Shenandoah, and they will hold spots for our pharmacy students. Pre-vet, again, same thing, usually chemistry or biology major. There is no in-state vet school in West Virginia, so students have to go out of state for that program. And I think what really helps with those majors, with those pre-professional programs, is that the classes are so small and you do have to do a research project. We've had students that have presented those research at various conferences, and when you can go in and say, I've done this, this, and this in an interview, your chances of getting into those schools are higher. And pre-law is usually political science with a legal studies concentration. Usually, again, you spend 3 years here and then you go to law school. We have an agreement with the Penn State School of Law right now, but we also send a lot of students to WVU, especially if they're in state. And again, you do have dedicated faculty that help you prepare for entrance exams. So if it's the LSAT or the MCAT, whatever it may be, they're going to help you and make sure that you're doing everything you need to do to get to those programs. So a little bit about the support that we can offer students. So we do offer free tutoring, and it's peer-to-peer tutoring. Pretty much every subject is available. You can also be a tutor. It's one of the highest paying jobs on campus. You have to have an A or B in the class, and you have to go through an interview process through our academic support center. And then we also offer an online writing lab. You can submit your papers early for student feedback within 72 hours. We also offer an academic advising center. So every student has an advisor within their department. So if you're a sports management major, you will have an advisor from the recreation and sports studies department. But if you had a question, you wanted to know, maybe get a quick answer about a course, how adding and dropping a course could affect you, if you want to change your major, the academic advising center is the place to go. They'll do 4-year course progression, again, major what if scenarios. So if you wanted to change your major, and then do something else called CLEP testing. So if you took 4 years of Spanish and you're really good at Spanish, you could take what's called a CLEP test to test out of certain courses. So if you want to get some college credit for Spanish and you're really good, you had a really good experience in high school and you did really well at speaking Spanish, you can take a CLEP test. Some other support opportunities we have, so TRIO Student Support Services. So this is students who are first generation college students, and they're students with high financial need. So that's defined by the FAFSA. I'll talk a little bit about that here in a few minutes. So first generation and students with high financial need, those are students that are handpicked, and it's another set of eyes. So it's another advisor. They'll help with your transition to college and other skills. So again, these will be people that can help you kind of figure out your path in college, and then also they will help you when you're ready to graduate, help you with some job applications, cover letters, resumes, whatever it may be. Accessibility support services. So these are accommodations for students with documented disabilities. So if you have an IEP in high school, and maybe, let's say you have ADHD and you need some extended test taking, any accessibility service that you need, as long as you have a doctor sign off on that and tell us, and you disclose that disability to us, then we can provide some accommodations for you. Counseling services. Let's say you're having a really hard time going through this transition to college, you need somebody to talk to, you can schedule counseling appointments here. We have several counselors that will talk to you, and they will help you and walk you through some different steps that you can take. Then the Shepherd Student Success Center. So this is part of the Shepherd Success Academy. So this is additional advising support. So maybe you're not a first generation college student, but you still want an extra set of eyes or an extra advisor to work with you. They will help you with your transition to college, time management, and help give you some study skills. Touch on campus life a little bit. I'm not going to go on too much detail because we have a couple of students who can detail their experiences. We have over 90 clubs and organizations. These range from fraternities and sororities to academic interest groups. Most of our majors have some type of honors fraternity that are associated with them. We have some recreational interest as well. The best example I can talk about for clubs and organizations is our women's lacrosse team. So several years ago, we had a couple of girls from Maryland who wanted to start a club lacrosse team. They went to our student government, our student activities office, and said, hey, they want to start a women's lacrosse team. And they did, and that eventually evolved into our Division II PSAC women's lacrosse team that we have now. So literally a couple of girls wanted to start this club, and it evolved into what it is now. They compete on the Division II level, and they offer athletic scholarships as well. So one thing that I think we do really well is have a lot of opportunities for students to hear from, whether it's featured speakers, musical performances by their other students, art exhibits. So music and art both of their departments require their students to present their work. So whether it's a musical performance from the music department or an art exhibit by students that have done art in our art program, students can attend those. We do annual events and festivals, and we're Division II for athletics. So everything on campus is free for students. Students just have to show their student ID, and they can be admitted to whatever event we have on campus free of charge. I think another thing that we're really proud of here is the community support that we have. So we have about 4,000 students on campus, and I'll use football as the example. We have about 4,000 students on campus, and our football stadium seats about 6,500 people, and that stadium is filled every single Saturday. So the community supports us with athletics. They support our music department, our art department, and we even do special programs to connect students with community members, especially, I mentioned we have a pretty decent international population on campus. So the community members kind of serve as host families for our international students. We have 5 different dining options on campus. So we have your traditional dining hall, all you can eat dining hall. Riverside Market is actually in one of our residence halls. So it's in Potomac Place. Ramsden is probably the most popular place for students for lunch. They serve breakfast out of there right now. Then we have a Fireside Bistro, which is a Starbucks location on campus. And then the Wellness Cafe is in the Wellness Center. So the Wellness Cafe is a little bit different. They serve a little bit healthier options. They do some smoothies and wraps instead of sandwiches, various different things. All of these dining options are included in your meal plan, so you don't have to pay extra if you wanted to eat at one of these specific locations. As long as you have a meal plan on campus, you can swipe your card and you don't have to pay for your meal. So if you're planning on living on campus, we have traditional style residence halls, suite style residence halls, and apartments on campus. So traditional style is the traditional style residence hall where you have a floor, you have a shared bathroom for the floor. Suite style residence halls are usually, so we have Potomac Place, which is a new suite style residence hall. So there's 2 bedrooms, either 2 or 4 students are in each of those rooms, and then there's 1 or 2 full bathrooms depending on the room. So no more than 2 students will ever share a bathroom there. So if there are only 2 people living in one room, then there's 1 full bath. If there are 4 people living there, then there's 2 full baths. We also have what I call regular suite style dorm rooms. So those are 2 or 3 bedrooms with your own private bathroom and a living room area. We do have apartments on campus as well. Those are 2 or 3 bedrooms with a living room and a full kitchen. The apartments are usually only available for students in sophomore standing and up. Potomac Place, the new residence hall on campus, we've been able to reserve 100 spots for new first-time in college students. So as long as you are one of the first 100 students on campus that pays their enrollment deposit and gets everything that you need to us, get your application, transcripts, and test scores in by November 15th, then you have an opportunity to live in Potomac Place. All right, so let's talk about financial aid. So I know most of our students here are West Virginia residents, so we do have in-state tuition for you. That's just over $18,000, including room and board. Um, we try and keep things affordable. We have a lot of scholarship options available to you as West Virginia residents. They start at a 3.0 cumulative GPA, and those are $1,000, $2,000, and $3,000 for you. As a West Virginia resident, you have to have specific ACT and SAT scores, and those are automatically awarded to you. We do also have a scholarship application that you can complete once you're admitted. We have several foundation scholarships that you can get. A lot of our individual departments get scholarship funding as well. So if you are in a specific department, it doesn't hurt to reach out to the department chair and ask if there are any scholarships available for you. And then of course, definitely want you to apply for the FAFSA. So that's the free application for federal student aid. We do award Pell Grants, West Virginia Grant. If you meet certain financial thresholds, those are automatically awarded to you. It is open now, so if you haven't done it, I encourage you to do it. It is required for some scholarships. If we don't have a FAFSA on file for you, you may not be eligible for certain scholarships. So again, I think it's important to apply. It doesn't hurt you to complete the FAFSA. There's nothing bad is going to happen to you if you complete the FAFSA, or if you don't complete the FAFSA, that's okay too. All right, so let's talk about next steps. So you can apply. So our application for fall 2021 is open now. You can, in the upper right-hand corner of the website, there's an apply link, or you can go to shepherd.edu/apply. And if you're a first-time freshman, there's a link there. Transfer student, there are links there as well. If you're a freshman student, we are test optional for fall 2021 for admissions purposes. So what I mean by that is if you have a certain GPA, usually, or GPA, if you have test scores, is a 2.0. But if you have at least a 2.75 GPA and you're in major courses, so if you're interested in biology, we're going to be looking at your science courses. So you have to have at least a 2.75 GPA in those courses, as well as at least a 2.5 GPA overall. If you're a transfer student, at least 24 college level credits and at least a 2.0 GPA. And then if you have a test score and you're a first-time freshman, 2.0 GPA, 19 on the ACT, or 990 on the SAT, that will get you admitted. We don't require an essay for the application. If you want to send one, we will happily take it into consideration. Same thing with letters of recommendation. So application is easy, probably take 5 or 10 minutes to complete. And be happy to answer any questions that you have. Again, if you have questions, go ahead and submit those to us. Be happy to answer those for you. And I'm going to turn it over to Lacey, who is going to head up the question and answer with the students that we have tonight.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Will. Hi, everyone. I know Will introduced me. My name is Lacey. I'm an admissions counselor at Shepherd, also an alum, came to Shepherd as a transfer student, had such a positive experience that I decided to stick around for a little bit. So I have 2 current students with us today, Marquez Burns and Alana Gutman. We have some questions that we're going to ask them. Send us questions through the chat. They're going to talk a little bit about their experience as students. And Kaylin, if ever you want to jump in and add your 2 cents as well, please do. So this first question, I'll go ahead and have Alana and Marquez answer first. When you guys answer, if you can just tell us your major, your year at Shepherd, and our first question is, why did you choose Shepherd? Alana, if you want to go first.
Alrighty, can everyone hear me? I hope so, because my audio hasn't been working today. So why did I choose Shepherd? That's a really good question. Normally I would tell the story about how I even found out Shepherd was a school in the first place, but I'm gonna spare you all that. I decided to come to Shepherd because I was looking for a smaller school, and I was looking for a really close-knit community, because I hadn't really gotten that in high school. And I realized that when I was able to visit Shepherd, I realized just how close everybody was and how everybody knew each other. And it was like finding a second family, and it was really nice. So I really chose Shepherd because of how close everybody was to each other already. So.
And Alana, if you can just let us know your major and your year as well.
Oh, absolutely. I am a junior global studies major.
Awesome. And you're from Morgantown, right?
Yep, I am from Morgantown, West Virginia.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, Marquez, how about you? Why did you choose Shepherd? And if you can let us know your major and where you're from, that's awesome.
All right, cool. My name is Marquez. I'm from Ashburn, Virginia. I'm a sophomore at Shepherd. I'm a HyPEX major, which is health promotion and exercise science. The reason why I chose Shepherd was because I play football. I should say that. I play football. I'm on the football team. I'm also in Greek life, but mainly on the football team. I came to Shepherd because they offered me a football scholarship, and they really wanted to take a chance on me, and I really appreciate that. Once I took my athletic visit to the campus, I really fell in love with it. It's smaller than what I would like, but it's so close knit, and as she was saying, everybody's like a family there, and I just felt like it. I love the atmosphere, especially on game days. And everybody was so supportive in my decision when I went there and all my process and everything like that. That's why I went to.
Awesome. Great. Kaylin, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I think it's always great to point out that Shepherd, for some reason, for every student that I've ran into and all my friends who went to Shepherd, is that it very quickly starts to feel like home. Essentially, from move-in day or the first time that you visit it as a transfer student, just there's something about it that's just so inviting and warm that you feel like you're literally neighbors with everyone who's on campus. Like there wasn't a single soul that you couldn't talk to on campus who wasn't happy to talk. So great feeling campus, wonderful place.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and take a minute to answer one of the questions from our chat, asking about if we offer criminal justice and social work. We do offer both of those degree programs. Both criminal justice as its own major and social work separately. So our social work program is very strong. I actually had the chance to study abroad with some social work majors and our social work program coordinator who gets all of our social work students their internships. And she said that she gets a lot of students who go on to grad school in social work, and they'll reach out to her and say, oh, this program is so easy compared to Shepherd. I already did all of this at Shepherd. So our social work majors go into the field very well prepared for their career. And same thing with criminal justice. We have so many internship opportunities just in the DC metro area. I think something interesting that I experienced as a student at Shepherd is that a lot of the times I would hear my professors be like, oh, I have to talk to the FBI again tonight because we have so many students who end up going into those jobs like for FBI, CIA, really like high security clearance type of fields. As far as the costs for the degree program, taking both majors together, it's not impossible, but it would be tricky because social work has a very high field work requirement. So for social work, for the last year or so, you're doing a lot of field placement. You're not on campus as much. So it would be possible, but you would probably have to jump through some hoops and get some extra approvals, but it could be done. As far as the cost for the degree, if you're just pursuing one bachelor's, even as a double major, our in-state tuition for one full year with room and board is $18,000. And if ever you want to talk through the specifics of the financial aspect of it, feel free to reach out to us. Okay, I'll go on to more questions for our panelists. First, Marquez, if you can talk about what your favorite class is and why, that would be awesome.
Like favorite class overall, or just right this year?
Overall, whatever your favorite class was and why. Yeah.
All right, cool. So last year was my all-time favorite. I've only been in the school for 2 years, so I can't really say my all-time favorite yet. But if we're counting just this year and last year was my biology class. So with my major, you have to take biology in order to go into anatomy and all that. So always why I say my biology class because of my professor here at Shepherd. They really work really well with you and make sure that you are doing the things that you need supposed to in order to pass their class. And he was he was he was on me the whole time. When I when I didn't want to participate in class that day, he will ask me the most questions. Like we develop a really strong relationship, especially during lab when he can work with me more, and he uh he actually cared about me, which most of the professors really do. They really they really try to make a connection with you because there's not a lot of people in your class, so they definitely will know your face. They definitely know when you don't you're not in class. They definitely know you didn't do an assignment because it's really close knit. But that's why I like that teacher the best because of the relationship that we built with each other during the class, the whole class.
Awesome. Alana, if you don't mind answering as well, what is your favorite class, whether this year or overall? What is your favorite class and why?
There's so many. Okay. Well, one of my favorite classes was actually it was during my freshman year. It was my General Science 104 class. And I'm a global studies major, so science is not actually something that we really focus on, at least in the part of global studies that I'm in. So this is really surprising for me. We mostly focused on like geology, meteorology, things like that. But Dr. Snyder was amazing. He was funny. I mean, he's told the same jokes over and over again, but that was okay. That's my kind of humor. And I really learned a lot in that class. And he was fast paced and he was energetic, even though it was like, what time was it in the morning? Our lab was like 9:30 in the morning. And so I really felt like a lot of the professors here do care about their class. I just had such a really good connection with him because he really showed it. Like I don't really know how to explain it. If any of you ever need to take a science credit, please take General Science 104 with Dr. Snyder. He's amazing.
Awesome. Thank you. Caitlin, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
I think instead of just having like one favorite class, it was a combination of just the same group of professors during my later classes that just made all the classes very enjoyable because by that point they'd already known me for 3 additional years and it just kind of built up on that relationship that we had to where the classes became more interactive. They were more geared towards our actual future careers because by that point they knew exactly what your ambitions were. So just overall, the business professors have been great.
Awesome. Thank you. I kind of want to chime in on this one because I feel like I have a fun answer. So I had the opportunity my senior year to participate in a class that was actually faculty research. So I was a psychology major. I'm very much into meditation, developmental psychology, and things like that. And I had the opportunity to teach a kindergarten class once a week, every week for I think a whole semester. And I was teaching them meditation, and it was the most fun and coolest experience I've ever had. And my professor knew I was interested in those things, and she approached me and said, "Hey, this is some research I'm conducting. You were the first person I thought of. Do you want to do this?" And I was just so happy because it couldn't be more everything I was interested in. And then of course I did study abroad, which I got class credit for. So I got to do study abroad to Cuba over the summer. It was the most fun I've ever had with a big group of people. And now all of us are still friends years later. Feels like a big family. We do have some Q&A I want to address. So what documents are needed to apply as a first-time freshman? So for the fall of 2021, we are officially test optional. So we do not need SAT or ACT scores to make an admissions decision. However, if you do take the test or get the chance to take the test, we still encourage it because it can help you qualify for scholarships and for placement for math and English as well. But right now, all we actually need to make a decision are your high school transcripts. We'll want an official copy sent to our office. We can make sure we get you that information, and I can answer that with our email and address. But we also really like to recommend that you send us a personal statement or a personal essay. There are some prompts when you do the application. We love to get a better and fuller idea of who you are, not just in the classroom, but outside of the classroom as well. Okay, and I'll go on to our next panel question. We have a few minutes left. So Alana, if you can start off on this one, what do you do to get involved on campus?
That is a really great question. For those of you who do not know me, which is a lot of you, I am incredibly involved on campus. I'm in a social sorority. I am in Rotaract. I'm a member of the Panhellenic Council. I have involvement all over campus. So the way that I found out actually about a lot of these organizations was I went on Rampulse, which is a site where we have a lot of our events that are like a club and organization based. They're all on this website. And the way that you log in is using your Sakai login and password. I also just found out about a lot of these organizations just through friends. A lot of my friends when I got into school were upperclassmen, so I just sort of followed them around, and I got involved in what they were involved in, and here I am, and I still enjoy it. I got really lucky. So I guess the best way to get involved here is to make a friend and follow them around and see what happens. At least I think that's the best way to do it. But in all seriousness, Rampulse is incredibly useful too, because it definitely helps you find some of the smaller organizations as well.
And Marquez, how do you get involved on campus?
So as I said before, I'm on the football team. So you get a lot of people will get to know your name as they know what organization you're with. But I'm also in a social fraternity too. I'm in Tau Kappa Epsilon. All reason why I got with them was because I went to, usually Shepherd does in the first 2 or 3 weeks. They didn't get to do it this year because of COVID, but usually they do in the first 2 or 3 weeks, they do an involvement fair in our and the student center, not student center, what's it called? The gym, what's it called? Wellness center, there we go. The wellness center. And they have all the clubs. That's where you usually find what you want to do in life at your time in Shepherd. Is they had all the clubs, all the organizations that you want to be a part of. And I went over to their table, and I like his name, we call him Herb, his name's Austin Herbert. He came up to me and was like, "Hey, are you interested?" And I was like, "I mean, why not? Like, I have nothing else to do." And then I also found out that they have a Black Student Union, and I also joined that too. So that's how I got involved with campus life, was with the involvement fair. And after that, just pretty much, if your friend's doing this and you think it's cool too, you do it too. That's how you get involved.
Awesome, thank you. Something else to mention is that Alana and Marquez are also student ambassadors, so they are tour guides on campus. It's a really good paying job. It's an opportunity to get involved just a couple hours a week, and you get to meet families, talk to future students. Usually you'll have students who are either interested in something similar to your major, so really lots of opportunities to get involved on campus and even get paid for it. And then Kaylin, do you have anything else you want to add to that one?
Yes. So I think one of the best ways to get involved is just through our annual involvement fair that we typically have at the start of the fall semesters. And just honestly talking to your professors and your advisor. They have great ways for you to get involved both on campus and off campus. I was lucky enough to get involved with my first organization at Shepherd, which was the student ambassadors as well through admissions. And that was kind of like my gateway into other type of opportunities. So tons of ways to do it.
Awesome, thank you so much. So at this point, guys, we just want to make sure that we address all of your questions. So if there are any other Q&As you want to send our way, please do. And then I will leave it to Lobel to wrap us up.
All right, thanks, Lacey. Yeah, if you do have questions, any final questions, go ahead and ask us. Also, if you have questions and you want to talk to somebody on the phone, this is the phone number that we have for the office. So it's 304-876-5212. Then the general admission email is admission@shepherd.edu. Feel free to email us at any time and we can get back to you as soon as we possibly can. We are in the office. We are actually offering campus tours now as well, so you can go to our visit page. Campus tours are starting for us on Monday, October 19th. We're doing 2 tours a day, one at 10 and one at 2. You have to go online and register. We are asking that you wear a mask. It is going to be a walking tour, and try and keep it as safe and as socially distanced as possible. We will be running those at least through the end of November while we have students on campus. So just check our visit page for updates. Also, we will be doing some academic info sessions as well. You can find all of that information on the visit page as well. Every major is doing an academic info session, and we are recording those. So if you can't attend on that particular day of the academic info session that your major that you're interested is on, just keep an eye out on the website for the video, and just check back and it will be there. Again, the application is open now. Lacey talked about our requirements. If you want to be admitted, we just need a high school transcript. We don't need test scores. So if you have questions, again, feel free to call us or send us an email. We're here. We're happy to help you. And we'll do the best we can to help you through this process. We know it's a little bit challenging right now, but we're here. We're trying to help try and get you through and get you admitted as quickly and as easily as possible. So.
If I can also just say one more thing, if there's any Q&As we didn't get to today or that you didn't think of during the session, feel free to text us. Our text number is 304-716-4075. We are on that. All of the most of the counselors monitor that during business hours. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. And it's just an easy way to communicate instead of trying to get into your email and all that good stuff. So anything you need, we're there. Email, over the phone, text, we got you.
All right. I'd like to thank our presenters from Shepherd University for being here with us this evening, and we'd like to thank you all for attending with us as well. When you close this window, there is going to be a link for a very short, very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback that you can provide to us. Also, this is just one of the many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for any additional sessions at WVACRAO.org. And in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all the other session recordings at WVACRAO.org again. Thank you again and have a good evening.